Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Kline Studios Piano Lesson number 36. In this lesson, you're going to learn about intervals, sharps and flats, and enharmonics. I know that's a fancy word, but it's really easy. We're going to start at the keyboard. Now you might remember when we talked about half steps and whole steps. Well, that half step and the whole step actually has a formal name, a formal title. The half step is called a minor second. The whole step is called a major second. Minor second, major second. Now, if I do 1.5 steps, let's try that. Ready? 1.5. It's a neat sound, isn't it? That is a minor third. 1.5. And if I do 2 whole steps, ready? 1, 2. 2 whole steps. That's a major third. 1, 2. So, minor second. Major second, minor third, major third. Let's look at all of this on the blackboard. Now let's take a look at what these intervals look like. Start with middle C. Now, when you take a note and you raise it, you make it higher by 1/2 a step. That's called making the note sharp. And sharp sort of looks like a little tic-tac-toe symbol. So here's C. C natural because it's in its natural state. Just middle C, plain old middle C. This is C sharp. From C to C sharp is 1/2 a step. Because when you see a sharp, you raise it 1/2 a step. We better take a look at that on the keyboard. So here's middle C. You just looked at middle C on the board. If I raise middle C 1/2 a step, that is C sharp. All right, back to the board. All right, so here we are, C and C sharp, 1/2 a step. It's a minor second. We use a little M for minor and a 2 for second. Then, middle C to D. Boy, my drawing isn't so great today. Middle C to D, make that a little clearer for you, is a whole step. Major second. We'll use a big M for major. Then, middle C to D sharp. Right? So you take D and you raise it 1/2 a step. So that means from here to here is 1.5 steps. Try to picture the keyboard in your mind. Visualize middle C to D. There's a note in between those 2 notes, so it's 1 step. Then visualize D to D sharp. That's 1/2 a step. C to D sharp is 1.5 steps. Minor third. Let's see if I can squeeze this next one in so you can see it. Are we on there? Yes. C to E. I just made it. Visualize it in your mind. Middle C to D is 1 whole step. D to E is another whole step. C to E, 2 whole steps. Major third. Now you might be wondering why this is important. I'll tell you why. If you can do this, then you'll be able to figure out how to play chords. And that's really important. Now, I'm going to show you something else that might be a little tricky. but I know you can do it. So, C. This time, oh my goodness, D flat. When you make something flat, you lower it a half a step. Let's take a look at the keyboard. So now we know if we're on C and we raise it a half a step, we've taken a note, we've raised it, made it sharp, C sharp. Now, when you make a note flat, you'll lower it a half a step. So here's D. If I want to make it flat, I lower it a half a step, D flat. Did you notice that C sharp and D flat are actually the same note? That's called an enharmonic. They look different on paper. One looks like a C sharp, one looks like a D flat, but actually they sound the same. Let's go back to the board. All right, let's do some more enharmonics. C to D, we'll leave that alone. Get rid of that sharp. C to E flat. Can you tell that's a flat? And that's not very good, is it? Let me try that again. C to E flat is also a minor third. D sharp and E flat are the exact same note. They're spelled differently. That means they look different on paper, but they sound exactly the same. So now, let's see, did we cover it all? Yes, I think we did. Let's look at our song.